Hello and welcome to this special edition, special 2 episode review of the very first Mass Effect. Now, I don't know how I'm going to get clips of the game edited in this. I might not do it, but over these next 2 episodes, I'm going to give you a point-by-point review of the game. Now, if you haven't played the first Mass Effect, understand there will be massive, insane spoilers. If you haven't played it yet, first off, you're a moron. Second off, it's $20. There's no reason why you shouldn't go and get this platinum hit. And three, this is only the first part of my total review of all 3 of the Mass Effect games, and I am not going to give a score based on each individual game. I'm going to give a score based on the trilogy. So, here we go. Story synopsis. You, and emphasis on the word you, are playing the role of Commander Shepard. Now, the game gives the default name as John Shepard. I guess that's a reference to John Glenn and the fact that a lot of heroes in space movies are named John, or let's say you are a war hero and you have been assigned to the Normandy to do what seems like what they call a galactic shakedown run. See if everything is running on the new prototype ship of the Galactic Alliance. These guys have been running the government for about a good long time according to the timeline. And the government of the Alliance is just for Earth and humanity's interest, but are greater sin foreseen by the Citadel Council, which are the judges and jurors and keepers of galactic peace. What you find out is that your shakedown run is a reconnaissance mission for a Prothean beacon. Now, the Protheans are an alien race that lived a long time ago. They're hyper intelligent, being said to have constructed the mass relays. Mass relays allow for faster than light travel from point A to point B, and these point A's to point B's are designated points. Um, and it is from which the name of the game Mass Effect comes from, when element 0 meets regular elements, they create a counter effect based on the mass in which a vehicle or a gun, bullet, or whatever is traveling. That is the technical definition and the technical reason the game is called Mass Effect. Um, on this shakedown run, you encounter, through video, a ship, it seems. This ship is attacking the colony Eden Prime, in which you're going to for the beacon for unknown reasons. There, you discover an alien race known as the Geth, and thus your story begins. The basic gameplay is a cover shooter, emphasis on cover shooter, slash RPG. built around a very simple and yet very complex conversation mechanic. On the top end of your conversation tree is a kind or positive nature decision called a paragon decision. In the middle is a middle of the road decision. And on the bottom is a mean spirited, almost cynical renegade decision. This is the way that the game does a morality system similar to BioWare's first major console hit, Knights of the Old Republic. Only this time we're not talking light side or the dark side of the force. Any other decisions made on the far left side of the conversation tree continue the conversation into more detail or into personal inquiries. This allows for romantic subplots and for greater detail, and the game happily provides what they call a codex, which is an encyclopedia of information to even go further into detail about the alien races, planets, cultures, scientific jargon, and everything if you're one of those detail freaks. And also a pretty good and pretty handy journal in which you can keep track of your main missions and your assignments, aka submissions, and there are over 50 of them that are dispersed over the course of the game. Gameplay is pretty simple. You lead a group of up to you and two more compatriots. These compatriots comprise of your surprisingly thin in this game seven crewman crew. In a sorry, namely Arata Sony, a Krogan named Urbnot Rex, a Turian named Garrus Vakarian, aka my Nickel, Ashley Williams, an Alliance soldier of the 212 Regiment, who is the last surviving member of that regiment that you find on Eden 5, and Alliance Biotic by the name of Kaden Olenko, and the mysterious Korean Talizor Naraya. This crew might seem paper thin, but it's where this game's hook comes into play. The biotic powers. And yes, I know. Use the force loop. I get it. A lot of the a lot of the biotic powers are based, ironically, around the Force in Star Wars. Biotic powers can only be learned by adept and vanguard classes. There are tech powers like AI hacking, overloading, loading, dampering, and things like that for your techie class. Now, when you make a character, you are given the choice of one of 6 classes. Now, I have beaten it twice using a vanguard and a soldier. Soldiers are straight up your firepower guys. They use guns, no biotic tricks. They are trained in all nature of gunmanship. Vanguards are a good cross between the two that can learn pistols and shotguns and a small assortment of biotic powers, plus be trained in medium armor, which any pure biotic or tech cannot. Only the soldier can be equipped in heavy armor usage. Now, Next up is the nature of getting around. At first, you'll be sent on a couple of prologue missions to get you centered into the universe and give you a basic synopsis of the plot. But once that is over, you're free to navigate the Milky Way galaxy. And there are many, many star clusters to look at. In fact, by my count, there are exactly, get this, a staggering 34 star clusters to navigate throughout the accordance of the game. Each with planets, asteroid belts, things to survey, and some planets to board. And thus the trouble with Mass Effect 1 begins. The nature of exploring undiscovered worlds in Mass Effect 1 is done by a small military vehicle known as the Mako. This small military walking tank also works off of its own shield system and comes equipped with machine guns, all-terrain tires, and a tank gun. Using the Mako, you can navigate the unexplored or quest worlds, well, not necessarily the quest worlds, at your leisure, discovering things that may help in many submissions to gain experience. Experience is allocated through experience points that you use on what BioWare calls the talent tree. As you level up the talent, other talents will unlock accordingly. The game has a staggering 60 level cap with levels 50 through 60 unlocked after one playthrough, thus giving you the emphasis of playing it twice. In video 2, I'll get more into the actual gameplay controls, gameplay statistics, my overall feelings on the game, its emotional and many subplots, and ultimately set the table for the game's even more combat-laden sequel, Mass Effect 2. Until then, may Leoka be with you.